Okay. Hopefully Beck's managed to start the meeting, start the recording. I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds. All right. Welcome everybody to this ordinary meeting of the Strathbogie Shire Council for the last time during this council term, held here virtually on Tuesday, the 20th of October 2020, commencing at 6 p.m. Until further notice, all meetings conducted by Strathbogie Shire Council will be held virtually and live streamed on our website at www.strathbogie.vic.gov.au. This ensures that we are meeting the Victorian Government's social distancing requirements to slow the spread of coronavirus COVID-19 and help keep our communities safe. We encourage all community members to watch the meeting online, given that we have had to close the public gallery until further notice following legal advice around how to comply with COVID-19 social distancing rules. Today, all our councillors are working from home, as are our council officers, or they're in a closed office space. This is so that we can participate without having to wear a mask. And we understand wearing a mask may create accessibility concerns for some members of our community. And we hope by participating in today's meeting remotely, we can help overcome this. I wanted to take the opportunity to outline that voting at today's meeting will be held by a show of hands. And you will also see all councillors will raise their hands to vote for any motion. For and against cards will be used by councillors to make it really clear for our community how they are voting on motions. You will see a card with the green word for those voting for motions, and a card with a red word against on it, held by councillors voting against a motion. If a councillor has a conflict of interest in a matter, then they will be asked to leave the meeting, so no discussion on the matter will commence until we are sure that they have done so. I will announce when a councillor has rejoined the meeting after the matter has been considered and the vote concluded. If we have any technical difficulties during tonight's meeting, which means we're unable to broadcast to the public, we will adjourn for the meeting for 15 minutes. If the issue is not resolved after this time, but we maintain a quorum of councillors under our local law, we will continue the meeting. If we cannot maintain a quorum, I will have to close the meeting and we will call another council meeting to consider unfinished business on the agenda. Thank you for joining us today. So, following through in our agenda, I'd like to begin our meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. We have a couple of apologies for tonight's meeting. Our Executive Manager for Governance and Customer Service, Dawn Bray, is an apology for tonight's meeting, as is Melissa Crane, our Acting Manager and Principal Planner. And it's good to see we've got Julie Solomon, our Chief Executive Officer, back on the line. We've had a few technical difficulties, so bear with us tonight. Our next item on our agenda is item 4. It's the disclosure of conflicts of interest. Councillors, are there any conflicts of interest that need to be disclosed tonight? No. In that case, we'll move on to item 5, the confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting, and that was the ordinary council meeting of Tuesday, the 15th of September 2020. So, councillors, do I have somebody prepared to move that those minutes be accepted? Thank you, Councillor Mason. And seconded by Councillor Williams. All those in favour, please. Oops. Lovely. Thank you. That's carried unanimously. Okay, item 6 on our agenda tonight is petitions. We have no petitions tonight. and reports of the Mayor. We're now up to the reports of the Mayor and councillors and delegates. So I would like to start tonight. I've got a report, and it's a little bit lengthy, but it's really important in this, our last council meeting. So today is the final meeting for this council term, and the final meeting for 6 of our councillors who are not standing in the upcoming local government elections. Many of these councillors have represented our Shire for many years, so I ask you to please bear with me tonight. I might make it a little longer to get through my introduction as I acknowledge and thank them for their contribution. But before I start, I would also like to pay tribute to the members of the Euroa Furlong Country Women's Association branch here in Euroa, who have announced that they are closing the local branch, the only CWA branch in our Shire. There has been a branch of the CWA in Euroa since 1928. At times, there has been more than 100 members, so many members that there were 2 branches until the original Euroa branch disbanded about 12 years ago. The news our local branch is closing brings me personal sadness. I am a member myself, but more than this, I believe it will be greatly missed by the community. The CWA is a vibrant, self-funded, volunteer philanthropic organisation that focuses on friendship, personal development and advocacy. There is no doubt that the Euroa Furlong branch has made a significant difference in our community. It has supported local projects, it has advocated on community issues and supported women in crisis locally, nationally and internationally. So on behalf of the Strathbogie Shire Council, I would like to thank all the CWA members for their contribution to our community. Today is my final meeting as Mayor of Strathbogie Shire. Over the past 4 years, I've been honoured and extremely proud to represent the council and our community. It has been a privilege to serve on our Strathbogie Shire. It has been a privilege to serve our Strathbogie Shire community, and today I just wanted to touch on some of the things that make me most proud of our council term during this term. Firstly, the roving council meetings. I think our council taking the meetings right across the Shire was a wonderful way that we could connect with our community. We had conversation cafes, meeting with the community to understand their needs and concerns and priorities before drafting our council plan. We developed the Strengthen Strathbogie advocacy plan that attracted state and federal funding into the Strathbogie Shire. We supported the Uluru Statement of the Heart for Aboriginal constitutional recognition and reform, both locally and at a state level. We signed the Refugee Welcome Scroll. We supported Strathbogie Shire's hugely successful Bogie Bog Buy program, and that saw a community solar system awarded to the Nagambie Bowls Club. We gained funding for a feasibility study into the development of a post-traumatic stress wellness centre for veterans and emergency services. We were one of the first 35 shires to sign up to the Climate Council's Cities Power Partnership. We supported our shire's community action groups, the Nagambie Waterways Committee and the various sporting and recreation reserve committees. We worked to promote our shire as a wonderful place to live, work and invest. We supported hundreds of community events around the Shire and we advocated for our Shire, ensuring that we are heard by state and federal government. At this time, I would also like to thank and acknowledge the hard work of Kate Stuthers and Deb Bauer. As councillors, they made a significant impact in the Honeysuckle and Lake Nagambie wards, respectively. As 6 of our councillors are not restanding, I would also like to acknowledge each of our councillors for their contributions during this term. So starting with Councillor Graham Mick Williams, OAM, who has been involved with the municipality for more than 55 years. The first 34 years as a grader driver and member of the outdoor crew, and the following 23 years as a councillor. Mick's knowledge and support has been invaluable to all of us. Mick served as a mayor for a 6-month period in 2002 and was further elected mayor in December 2010 and served 2 terms. He is an emeritus mayor and has been awarded an Order of Australia Medal for his truly significant contribution to the local government sector and to our Strathbogie Shire community. Councillor Malcolm Little has spent 12 years on council, and during this time he has played a significant role in representing the Hughes Creek ward, otherwise known as the Gateway to the Shire, leading the planning committee. So I thank him for the commitment to the Shire too. Deputy Mayor Councillor John Mason's work to support community projects including the Friendlies Oval and pedestrian bridge linking the town's sporting facilities should be acknowledged. Councillor Mason has put his hand up twice to be the Deputy Mayor during this term, and I thank him for his support and his commitment to the municipality in this role. Councillor Alistair Thompson's passion and contribution to good governance and the significant 0 to 1 roads program must be acknowledged. I thank Councillor Thompson for his financial acumen and leadership in this area. The 0 to 1 unsealed roads upgrade program has seen $1.6 million invested in road upgrades across our Shire. Councillor Bob Gardner and Councillor Chris Rayburn have been with us for a shorter period of time, and I thank them both for their commitment and contributions over the last 8 months. Thank you, councillors, for your contribution to the Strathbogie Shire this term. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the council officers who work tirelessly for our community. In the corporate operations area, we have seen strong improvement to our financial reporting and procurement systems. Our compliance team has recently led the establishment of a new community local law, which was amended to reflect community views and expectations. I would like to thank the operations team for its work on our roads, parks, gardens, and our waste team, which is achieving some of the best results in the state. To the community planning team, thank you for your hard work. In this team, we have seen youth projects, major events, tourism campaigns, and improved connections and collaboration with our business community. Our planning and investment team is committed to managing our Shire in a sustainable way, while supporting us to flourish, and our project and assets team have achieved wonderful things for our community. The governance and customer service teams have also seen a stronger focus on good governance, and our customer service and records teams, which are our first point of contact for our community, are so often acknowledged for their excellent service. The people and culture team has put a renewed focus on culture and accountability within the organisation, and in particular, I'd like to thank this team for its work in supporting the council with the recruitment of our new CEO, Julie Salomon. Recruiting to this position is a high pressure and seriously challenging mission, but I'm confident that we have an amazing leader who is firmly focused on our community. To the communications and engagement team, in less than 6 months, we've seen significant changes. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the future. And to the council support officers, a very, very special thanks to Di Bells, Kerry Lynch and Catherine Crosby for keeping us organised behind the scenes. I honestly don't know what we would have done without you. Finally, I want to finish by saying my 4 years on council has been full of both opportunities and challenges, but I'm confident that we leave Strathbogie Shire positioned to achieve great things in the future. I know through my role as Chair for the Regional Development Australia Hume Region Committee that I will continue to work with Strathbogie Shire to further enhance the regional and economic development in our region. Strathbogie Shire is truly a special place. Our events, tourism, wine and produce offerings, amazing natural resources, the Indigenous culture of the Tongarong and Yorta Yorta, our historic and military links mean that each of our townships has its unique offering. I don't think we could have developed a more accurate vision when we developed Together We Are Building a Flourishing Community. I have seen our community drive growth, change and important projects and develop important projects together. I urge our community to continue to get involved, to put your hand up and continue providing the advice and support that council needs to make good decisions. I'm confident in Strathbogie Shire and I look forward to seeing what our prosperous future holds. So now I'd like to thank you everyone, and I'd like to now ask the councillors if they would like to speak at this point and offer their reports. Thank you, Councillor John Mason.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's a difficult night for us all, I think, and as we move on, as we disperse and move on, and I'm not going to repeat. Sort of you've covered a lot of the ground. To me, it has been an absolute honour and privilege to have served our community, and I believe I'm a much better person for it. The people I've met, the training, the briefings, and the staff I've worked with, the incredible staff who have always been there, not just for myself, but for all of the councillors. And I'd also like to thank my fellow councillors for the incredible journey that I have been on, and I'm sure they have been on as well. I'd also like to acknowledge Councillor Mick Williams, OAM, 24 years as a councillor, as you said, who has, when I came in, totally green as a councillor, and he was there for me. He stepped up as a mentor. The advice he gave me, and I'll never forget the many journeys we did throughout the Shire, which turned into history lessons, and the history I learnt about the Shire was incredible, and I do believe that the community should get involved a lot more with the council, and it's just such a learning curve. It's incredible for me, and I'm going to leave it there.
Thank you, Councillor Mason. Councillor Little. Councillor Little, you're on mute. Councillor Little, you just need to unmute, please. Thank you.
Very good, right. This council, I believe, has left a financially sound legacy to build a future on. The future includes, but is not limited to, the COVID-19 problems and the capping of the Barletta transfer station, and maybe work with Kerwin's Bridge. There are challenges ahead, but we move on. I do congratulate all the candidates that have put their hands up who want to be part of a rapidly developing Shire. I know the successful candidates will do a magnificent job. They too should aim to leave in 4 years a highly successful Shire encompassing tourism, population growth, business development, and sound infrastructure, all under a sound environmental umbrella. I thank the executive management team and all the staff for their ongoing efforts under difficult COVID conditions. It's been a pleasure working with you all over 11 years, and I wish you the best of everything for the future. My fellow councillors, I thank you all for your efforts, and again, I wish you well wherever you may be heading. We've had a worthwhile trip together and an enjoyable one. Thank you to Di Burles for your continued help and guidance to myself and all councillors. My fellow councillor who I've worked with for the past 11 years, Councillor Mick, good luck to you and thank you for your ongoing support. Our Mayor, thank you for your leadership and guidance over your 4-year term. You have done it all with style, and I've enjoyed working with you, Amanda. Good luck to you. And finally, our new CEO. With all the challenges that we are, and I know that we are facing, and I know you are all aware of, I'm absolutely sure you will find a bright light at the end of the COVID tunnel. Good luck to you, Julie, and well done on your initial work with the Strathbogie Shire. And Madam Mayor, that's it from me.
Thank you, Councillor Little. Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening, everybody. Well, this has been a long years for me, but nearly 24 and 34 on the grader. But I've enjoyed my council life, I can assure you, and it's been a wonderful journey. I've seen lots of things happen from day one to today, how things have gone forward and how things have changed as it goes through. I think the Mayor covered most of the things that I'm not going to back up on tonight, because I think she covered it really well. And I must congratulate the Mayor on her 4 years and a wonderful job she done as Mayor. Well done, Amanda. Congratulations. I would like to thank my community who put me back 7 times in a row. Actually, I couldn't have been there without their support. So I always think the community is the ones that who put us there. They trust us and they want us to work for them, and which we have. I would also like to thank my fellow councillors, not just our fellow councillors here today, but the councillors I've worked with since 1997. So it's been a long journey, but a satisfying journey as far as I'm concerned. Probably the ones that really do the work are the staff. And I must say, the CEOs I've been under, and especially with Julie here now, and with the staff, how lucky we've been. The staff are the ones that bring all the information back to council. We give direction and policy, but they bring it back to us. And I really, really enjoyed working with the staff. And I think what made it so easy for me, I had 34 years with all the fellows out in the outdoor staff, and you get to know them and get to trust them. And I must say, today's staff and the staff that I had worked with in 97 are all the same. They're all doing their great part for the Shire. I must admit I don't like pulling people's names out of the hat, but I'm not pulling this one out of the hat. I would like to thank my PA and the Shire PA for all the councillors, all the time I've been here in Di Burls. And gee, I don't know what I'd have done without Di. She was such a great supporter and do anything to help us all, not only me, but the whole council. And you've heard what the other councillors have spoke tonight. So signing off tonight, thank you, everybody. I wish the new councillors all the best. I know they'll do a good job. I know that Julie will put them on the right track, and the staff that we have supporting them. And it's lovely to see you here tonight, Emma, and congratulations, Em, in your role and what you've done for us in the planning too. Thank you very much, everybody, and I hope that our new council go forward. As I said to Chris earlier today, and I've said it before, it's a team effort that makes the council work, and it's the councillors and the staff all working together. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Councillor Thompson or Councillor Rayburn or Councillor Gardner, do you wish to make a report tonight? No? Oh, Councillor Thompson?
No, just briefly, I'd just like to wish their new council and all of the staff well for the future. And the Strathbogie Shire is an amazing place. It's valued by everyone who lives here. It's be valued by the people who are elected as its council. And I know it's valued by the staff.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. All right, councillors, if there's no further reports tonight, we'll move on in our agenda. Now, the next item in our agenda is item 8, which is normally public question time. However, as per clause 112.2 of the council's election period policy, the public question time component of council's business is suspended during the election caretaker period. So we have no question time today. So our next item on our agenda is the officer reports. It's item 9. So we'll start on page 1 of our agenda for item 9.1. Just bear with me, I'm just scrolling through. And this item is planning applications received the 1st to the 30th of September 2020. And councillors, we have a recommendation that the report be noted.
Happy to move that.
Thank you, Councillor Little. Do I have a seconder, please? Thanks, Councillor Williams. Councillor Little, do you wish to speak to this item?
Just briefly to say that it's quite a pleasure to be able to move a recommendation like this instead of asking for it to be moved. Otherwise, just note the planning applications received. As many of the speakers have said tonight, the Shire moves on. There's some great applications in here.
Thank you, Councillor Little. Councillor Williams, do you wish to speak to this item? Councillor Williams, you're just still on mute.
When I give it an hour in business, yeah, I'd like to just say that it's great to see that the planning department bring all these bits and pieces to us, especially in applications that have arrived to us, and it's just great that, that you can see that the Shire is going forward with the amount of applications here tonight, Madam Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Williams. Do any other councillors wish to speak for or against this item? No. In that case, councillors, we have a recommendation that the report be noted, moved by Councillor Little and seconded by Councillor Williams. All those in favour, please. Thank you. That's carried 7-0.
Now, where are we?
Okay, the next item on our agenda is item 9.2, and it's on page 8 of our agenda, councillors. So this item is the adoption of the 2019-2020 annual financial report. And I'd just like to ask our Director of Corporate Operations, David Roff, if he'd just like to speak to this report, please. Officer Roff, you're on mute, sorry.
Embarrassing. I'll get an automatic switch. So the financial accounts have been prepared in accordance with the relevant accounting standards. They've been audited by our auditors, who are actually the Auditor General's office as a contractor. The Audit Committee has reviewed the statements and recommends that the report be considered for approval by Council. Council needs to pass a resolution giving its approval in principle and prior to formally submitting them to the Auditor General office and to the Minister for Local Government. And there's a series of recommendations there which are largely procedural, Madam Mayor. Happy to take any questions. Thank
you, Director Roff. Okay, councillors, we have a recommendation there with our annual financial report. I have somebody prepared to move the recommendation that starts on page 8 of our agenda. Thank you, Councillor Thompson. And do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Little. Councillor Thompson, do you wish to speak to this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as Director Roff said, I'd like to move that Council approves the annual financial report for the 2019-20 year in principle. And I'd just like to make a couple of comments, if I could, to the report. So on page, I think it would be page 19 of the agenda, which is the comprehensive income statement. Just a couple of things that are worth noting here. First of all, in terms of the expenses, when we look at our employee costs and our materials and services, they amount to $21.6 million. And if we look at the prior year, they amount to $21.8 million. And this continues a pattern that this council and particularly its executive staff have engaged in, which is to control our operating expenses. So our operating expenses have essentially been pretty much flat through the term of the council, which is something that I know our ratepayer, my constituents, have been very keen on, to see that costs are controlled, and I think this council has done that well. Just looking above that into the income, just a couple of things I wanted to point out there. If we look at our fees, our statutory fees and our user fees, we see that they are down on the previous year. And that is the reflection of the COVID-19 impact on our council. In a positive sense, with our attempt to stimulate the economy by waiving things such as health inspection fees and business continuity fees. But also it's been a factor of reduced income in things like the cinema and the sale yards. And so that's been indicative of the downturn in economic activity that's occurred because of COVID. When we look at the grant income, we see that the Shire continues to receive welcome grants from both the federal and the state governments we can match. The last thing I'd like to point out on that page is right down the very bottom, and we see that when we look at the total comprehensive result compared with the previous year, we see a loss of $12.7 million this year versus a surplus of 3.7 in the prior year, which, as the note points out, and if people look to that, is a function of the revaluation of our buildings, which is a different methodology from what has occurred in previous years. So this was a very comprehensive valuation. We're advised by the officers of our building assets, and therefore would be a better reflection of their true value than occurred in previous years when a desktop survey was done. The final comments I'd like to make are on page 20, refer to page 20. And when we look at our total current assets, this year they are $21.1 million, and last year they were $16 million, which effectively is a reflection of the increased cash holdings that we have, cash and term deposits. And that increase in cash is a reflection of one of the challenges that the Shire has always had, which is to be able to complete its capital works, its budgeted capital works program within any given financial year. Council received a briefing from the staff today. The staff are very aware that this is one of the challenges that the Shire has and have put in place, I think, very good systems and very good people to ensure that going forward the Shire fulfills its budget in terms of the money that it raises, it spends, because the Shire is not here to create an accumulation of cash as an investment. So I think that I'd like to thank the staff again for not only the work they've done this year, but the preparation of these financial statements. And as I said, I commend them to my fellow councillors for approval in principle.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Councillor Little, do you wish to speak to this item? Councillor Little, you're still on mute. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Now, Councillor Thompson's covered it pretty well. Over a period of 4 years, he has given us some very good summing up of the financial situation of this Shire, and I appreciate that. I mean, these figures show Council's balance sheet is sound in cash and liquidity, and the incoming council, if they browse through and peruse these figures, they'll pick up an enormous amount. And if they can build on them with the help of the staff, this Shire will just go ahead in leaps and bounds. And I also congratulate the staff on the way they put all these figures together and the way it's all been correlated. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Little. Do any other councillors wish to speak for or against this item? No. In that case, councillors, we have a recommendation that has been moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Little, and I'd like to put that to the vote. All those in favour? Lovely. Thank you, councillors. Carried 7-0. All right, councillors, now we're moving on in our agenda through to page 61 for item 9.3. And there we go. So item 9.3 is the adoption of the performance statement for 2019-2020 and the governance and management checklist for 2019-2020. So I'm going to ask our Director for Corporate Operations, David Roth, to speak to this item as well, please. Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's two documents here which run with the financial statements. The first one's the performance statement, which includes a number of financial indicators mandated by state government, as well as some other indicators of service delivery. These statements, the performance statement, will form the basis of the information that will go onto the Know Your Council website probably in about a month, so that residents will be able to look up the database, compare our performance with other councils across the state. The governance and management checklist is just a list of different documents and policies that we're required to have, just to reassure people that we do have them and that we do keep them up to date. There's only one comment I'd make in relation to the performance statement. If you look on page 74 of the agenda, there's an indicator there which is called unrestricted cash, and the 2020 figure shows a minus 14.86%. That's not a symptom of a problem, it's a symptom of the fact that we need to only include our short-term cash in one of the items there. And the note on the right-hand side of that page indicates that we do have nearly $14 million in investments which are longer than 90 days. But for the purposes of that indicator, we only use the short-term funds. If the 13.7 million was included, the ratio would be 156%, not minus 14. So slightly healthier. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Director Roth. All right, councillors, we have a recommendation on page 61. Do I have a councillor who's prepared to move that recommendation? Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Thompson. And a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Little. Councillor Thompson, do you wish to speak to this item?
I think just briefly, Madam Mayor, I think as Director Roth pointed out, these schedules are interesting in terms of looking at the trend over the years for this shire, but perhaps most interesting as a benchmarking opportunity against other local authorities. And as Director Roth pointed out, this is the input to the Know Your Council website, and for those that are interested in seeing how the shire compares with similar shires, I recommend that website to people where they can do online comparisons with similar size shire. So it's interesting from a trend standpoint.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Councillor Little, do you wish to speak to this item?
Madam Mayor, just want to concur with Councillor Thompson's comments.
Thank you, Councillor Little. Any other councillors wish to speak for or against this item, please? All right, in that case, Council, we have a recommendation on page 61 of our agenda, and it has been moved by Councillor Thompson and seconded by Councillor Little. And I'm going to put that to the vote. All those in favour, please. Lovely, thank you. That's carried 7-0. Okay, councillors. Oh, excuse me. We are now moving on in our agenda. We're up to page 84 for item 9.4. I'm scrolling through. Okay. Page 84, item 9.4 is our business management system. And we have a recommendation on page 84 that the report be noted. Councillors, do I have somebody prepared to move that? Thank you, Councillor Mason. And a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Little. Councillor Mason, do you wish to speak to this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is there's 9 dot points there. Statistics, the building department, the planning department, the customer inquiry analysis report, waste management reporting, action of council reports, resolutions, outstanding actions of council resolutions, review of council policies and adoption of new policies, record of assemblies of councillors and record of minutes of meetings of special committees of council in the past month. It's all quite routine. I don't see any issues with it. I'm quite happy to be voting for this.
Thank you, Councillor Mason. Councillor Little, do you wish to speak to this item?
Just very briefly, thank you, Madam Mayor. I just refer to the pie chart on page 85 and note that Hughes Creek Ward, which is the home of Avenel, which is the gateway to the south of the Shire, is running 3 out of 5 for building activity. And I think that's pretty good. 3 out of 5 is not good, not bad for the gateway to the south.
Thank you, Councillor Little. Any other councillors wish to speak for or against this item? Councillor Gardner. Councillor Gardner, you're still on mute. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to follow up on Councillor Little's comments and just note that the building activity is $4.5 million for the Shire in the month of September in the middle of the COVID epidemic that we're going through. I think that's very healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gardner. Any other councillors wish to speak for or against this item? All right, in that case, councillors, we have a recommendation that has been moved by Councillor Mason and seconded by Councillor Little. All those in favour? Thank you. That's carried 7-0. Okay, moving through our agenda. This is our final agenda. We now are up to page 100. Item 10 is notices of motion, which we have no notices of motion tonight. Item 11 is notices of rescission. We have no notices of rescission. We have no urgent business for item 12, and we have no need for confidential business tonight, which is item 13. Councillor Williams, you...
Yeah, I'd like to ask you a question. I meant to do something about moving a motion, if I may. I don't know whether I'm allowed to do that, to have Di Burls recognised in the minutes tonight for her, what she's done for council over many contribution, yeah, and I'm not, I don't know whether that's allowable or not, but I'd like to move that should be contribution being minuted in our minutes tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. That is a little bit unusual for us, but I think that Julie, our CEO, is nodding there, and I'm sure the other councillors would be in support of this motion. So if councillors are happy, I'm happy to take that motion, and moved by Councillor Williams that Di Burls gets recognised for her.
I'm happy to second that.
Thank you. I would think I've got a race to second it. Thanks, Councillor Little. And I know that Councillor Mason's sitting there waving as well. So thank you, councillors. We have a motion moved by Councillor Williams and seconded by Councillor Little to recognise Di Burls for her support and contribution to council. Is that correct, Councillor Williams?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. In that case, I'm going to put that to a vote. All those in favour? Lovely. Thank you, Council. That is carried unanimously. Thank you. Well, with that, our last motion for this council meeting, our last ordinary council meeting of this current council term. The next meeting of the Strathbogie Shire Council will be determined following the election of the new council on Saturday, the 24th of October. I would like to thank all of the councillors and all of the officers again tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you all. Thank you. And there being no further business, I'm going to close the meeting tonight at 6:44 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.